Today is Thursday, June 25th. Thank you all for joining in again for our weekly PPACA webinars. For those of you that are new to our format, we have our webinars every Thursday from 9:30 till about 10. They never seem to last more than a half an hour. And we're using them not as only a format to relay information, but really as a format to have conversations, an open forum, get your questions answered. So if you have questions that you want to ask, you can do that two ways. You can click your little hand icon on your control panel to the right of your screen, or you can just type in a question in the question box, and I'll read them at the end and hopefully be able to answer them for you. So let's just start right into it. This has been the first bullet point for the last 3 weeks now, but I do have additional information for you. So, hi Mark, yes, no commissions for special election periods for effective dates of 8/1 through 12/31 of 2015. That has not changed. I did have a conversation with Highmark yesterday, and they are, I mean, part of the reason why they are experiencing such a loss on this block, not only because of the rates, but the adverse selection, where people come into the plans and then get their hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of services and then terminate their coverage. You know, the adverse selection, where a person can come in and out anytime they seem to please. So because of that, they, as many carriers are doing, are going to start asking for proof of a qualifying event. They're working out the details as to when they're going to start requiring that and what type of proof is going to be required, but it does look like they will, more than likely for 8/1 effective dates, have some sort of system in place to get those that proof of the qualifying event. Additionally, they mentioned that the website, their portal now for enrollment, won't have the capability to you know, intake all of these, the proof of the qualifying event. So they are going back to paper applications. Again, we'll get more details, but it looks highly probable that for 8/1 effective dates, if you're selling Highmark, it's going to be a paper Highmark application, a paper special election period form completed and signed, and then the proof of the specific qualifying event. That's what we're looking at, folks. I am just the messenger. We're going to try to support you as much as we can, as much as we always have, but we're waiting for those details as well. But so you have a heads up on that information. Hopefully you'll plan accordingly. Some good news in all of this. We've talked about Senate Bill 293 in Pennsylvania, which would require navigators or application assisters to go through background checks for consumer protections. Right now, they don't have to, and we've all heard the national horror stories of you know, all this personal health information in the hands of people that have not been vetted, as we as agents have been vetted. So that's a good thing. The Governor Wolf signed Act 7, which is now Act 7 of 2015, on June 19th. So that law in Pennsylvania has been signed, and navigators or application assisters that want to do business in our state will have to be registered with the insurance department and go through a background check. I think that's a good thing. Speaking of the Pennsylvania Insurance Department, I've been working with their assistant deputy commissioner, and they've gone to their legal team trying to see if there's any sort of way that an agent can charge a fee or consulting fee, application fee, whatever you name it. And unfortunately, the answer that they came back with was no, that their legal team looked through everything and basically said that you can't get an extra fee for doing something that is required as part of your license, the sale, solicitation, and enrollment of insurance. Now, I'll tell you, I'm relaying this information. I know people are doing what they're doing. I'm just telling you that this is the information from the insurance department, and you can you know, take that as information and you know, go with what you want. I would say that you should adhere to the law. That's all I'm saying. So we talked last week again about the Pennsylvania conditional approval of the state-supported base model for 2016, and it does look like that's going to go forward. The Supreme Court is supposed to make a decision on the King versus Burwell, the subsidies being administered through the federally facilitated marketplaces, but Pennsylvania has a Plan B, and this is it. So I don't expect anything to change for the balance of this year, no matter what the decision is. And for 2016, it appears that we are safe working on this SSBM model. Safe in that our subsidies for our Pennsylvania citizens are protected, and the distribution of. So I mentioned assurance that they're not taking major medical or short-term medical sales after 6/15. I just wanted to remind you of that. We do have other short-term medical coverage. So if you do have a need for short-term medical, please reach out to us. We can help you with various other plans. So speaking of how can I help you, how can I help you? If you have something specific that you want to learn about or know more about, let me know. We do have some downtime before the ramp up of 2016 certification, so let me know so I can provide that information to you. So we're going to go now to the open forum, so if you have questions, you can type them in or raise your hand. I did want to just back up real quickly to some of the strategies that maybe you might want to look at for the 8/1 to 12/31, because unfortunately or fortunately, Highmark is still the lowest price plan. Now, Capital in Central PA and other carriers come very close, but maybe a way to look at it in this interim, if you have to sell Highmark and you want to sell Highmark, is to look at that 4,000 Community Blue plan, which is the absolute cheapest plan in Central PA, and or a similar plan in other portions of the state, Western PA, and sell a gap plan with it. Certainly, you're keeping the cost way down, going with a larger deductible, of course, and you're adding the gap plan for that additional protection, the underlying protection, and it's commissionable. So look at that way. For the heavily subsidized folks, in the silver level bracket and the cost-sharing subsidies, Capital is probably a good option as well for the heavily subsidized folks. And of course, if you want to make sure that you're hooked into these plans for 1/1, you can just make sure you keep really good records if you sell a Highmark from 8/1 to 12/31, so that you can pick that case up as of 1/1. Make sure they don't change plans and rewrite with somebody else, etc. So that's about all the information that I have on that. Hopefully I can offer some more insight next week, but at this point that's all I have. And I'm going to open it up for questions. Kim said that she's heard that some brokers are charging a fee for service when moving group to the individual market. Yeah, and she's asking if that's what I'm referring to in my bullet point. That's exactly what I'm referring to. They are not able to do that by law, according to the Pennsylvania Insurance Department. I know that it's a practice that some people do. So I think there's a gray area with financial planning, but from my perspective and what my advice to all of you is on these fees, don't do it, because I think now that the question has been posed, and not by more than one person, they may be watching more closely. So I'm just saying, I know that it's not legal. I've heard that from the insurance department, and I'm passing that information on to you. Dave says, can you send us information on the individual gap plans you mentioned? Absolutely, Dave. I'll write that down, and we have several, so I will send you some information. And so again, that might be a Band-Aid approach, and there are other agencies that actually do this model 100% of the time, so they get 2 sales for the price of 1, if you will. So it is a popular approach and concept out there, but it's something that a lot of us didn't really even have to deal with because the plans were pretty strong and the pricing was great. So and commission was paid. So at this point, it looks like it's an option for the interim. That's all. Looks like those are all the questions today, and we will be picking back up where we left off next Thursday. The next webinar is Thursday, July 2nd at 9:30. So hopefully you can join us then. I appreciate everyone always joining in every week, and the questions, keep them coming. It makes me better and better support for you. So keep the questions coming. Thanks again for joining in, and have a great day and rest of your week. And as I always say, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.